So it's about 3:45 in the morning on the 26th, and had a terrible night's sleep. Pretty stuffy. I think it's allergies, or I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, I'm just ready to go. Got my breakfast out here. Got some gas station coffee from last night. Nice and cold. Got a peanut butter and chocolate chip sandwich for breakfast. A couple bananas. And a bag of Famous Amos cookies. So, breakfast of champions. We'll see how this morning goes. People get up, get about, and we'll get going. Okay, here we are. That's the Ohio River. We're rolling.
Official cardboard start sign right here. Okay. Anywhere over here is fine, guys. Anywhere over here. Hey, I don't know how many people we got here, but it looks like we got 30 or so. So thank you all for coming out. I'm Tony. This was my brainchild from a couple years ago, and it's morphed into this, and I'm pretty stoked. This was my idea for the route, but it was your idea to show up today, and just use good common sense. Well, that's a relative term given what we're doing, but be safe. God forbid anything happens, the first thing you do is call 911. I can't do anything for you, so call 911 and get help that way. If you don't like the route or you don't like the experience, I'll give you your money back. I'm just really happy that you all are here, and that you kind of have this shared vision for this experience. Last night, I had trouble sleeping, mostly just thinking about this ride and like how many people were going to be here and what we were going to do together. And I ended up getting up at about 11 o'clock, and I walked down here to the start line, and I just kind of prayed and was like in some scripture. I was thinking about all this stuff going on in our country, you know, whether it's the racial stuff or political stuff or the COVID stuff. And I thought, how awesome is it that we're all just going to come down here and we're going to ride bikes for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or whatever it ends up being. So if you don't mind, since this is my bad idea, I thought I would just share something from my favorite verse in Isaiah 40:31, and it's those who hope in the Lord will mount up on wings like eagles, will run and not grow weary, will walk and not faint. And throughout today, when you start to feel that moment where you're ready to just give up, you know, just kind of dig deep and reflect on why you're doing this and why you're here. And you came all the way down to South Point, or up to South Point, wherever you're from, and you're gonna ride your bike all the way to Lake Erie on some of the crappiest, nastiest roads I could find between here and there.
Thank you.
So just enjoy it, you know, enjoy the ride. That's our slogan at the shop, and that's kind of the slogan for this event. Enjoy the ride, and let's do this. You know, if I drop anything.
You should do a before and after picture.
Yeah, I've got my other one.
You ready for this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in about 6 hours.
Hey guys, you look cute today.
Thanks, Tony. Hey, buddy. SMT.
Hey, buddy.
Dirty water route.
SMT.
And the bit.
That's my hope too, this afternoon, Sunday.
Right turn coming up. Rolling in about mile 12, 13 right now. Still pretty good pack of riders here. Lots of nice, fast, paved riding through here. Big group. Well, we're in it, guys. 37 miles, and on the first really long stretch of gravel, about mile, 10 miles of this, riding with Marshall up here. All right, here we are. We got Marshall. Where are you from, Marshall?
I'm from Columbus currently.
Columbus. All right. Better stay on it here. Marshall's up there. He's busting it. Okay, here we are, mile 50, Oak Hill. And if you can see the level of grind from just under 4 hours of riding. Pretty dirty. Hence the name, a dirty water route. In Oak Hill, gonna be resupplying here and gonna be trying to get some water, some food, resupplying. We'll see how it goes. I'll find everybody. So everybody really split up right off the bat. Well, first 20 miles, there was a big group. Then it split up, fragmented. I was riding with Marshall for a while till he got too fast for me. Now I'm just chilling and enjoying this relaxed day of riding. Still solo here, getting ready to turn on Dixon Run Road around mile 60 today. Actually, feel pretty good since the last stop in Oak Hill. Was able to drink some water and eat some beef jerky. I think my salts were a little low. So I'm just trying to ride my own ride right now. This section of road just follows the major highway here for a while. And the scenery today is super awesome. Look at that. Leaves are just starting to change. It's the first weekend in fall. Oh man, what a day. Let's check in here. 68 miles in for the day. Running an average speed of about 12, a little over 12 miles an hour. It's 10:35 in the morning. Like I said, we're at 68 miles and we're just getting back onto some more gravel. Dirty water out. Next stop is the Buckeye Furnace. Pretty cool landmark on the route, about mile 70-ish. Mile 71, 72, somewhere in there. Man, this little wetland here. This is something else. Super nice. Feeling much better now that I've kind of gone off on my own, not riding with anybody. Not trying to match anybody's pace. One thing that's been tough today actually has been the dogs. There are so many dogs on this route. They're all over the place. This one old dog, just when I got on this road right here, oh my goodness, he faced me off. I had to kind of stand him down a little bit. See you at the Buckeye Furnace. Here we are, closing in on the historic Buckeye Furnace. Huge. Mile 70. We're just gonna keep rolling. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Next stop, Wellston. I'm gonna grab a cheeseburger at Wellston, maybe. Moving right along here. Let's see what time it is. 10:45, mile 70. Still crushing the goal, holding steady at around 12 miles an hour, 12.3. Pretty consistent. Super awesome. So, riding my bike across the state of Ohio, and it's COVID season, so you can't go into the restaurants. So I just went through the drive-thru on my bike. I think it kind of freaked them out, but Taco Bell isn't quite ready for the dirty water route, apparently. Alright, so check this out. There's a shredded chicken burrito in there for later. Oh yeah. Oh, big bump. This is the world's roughest bike path. What? Where are we at here? Across the road. Over. Okay, here we go. All right, next major stop. The next major stop is Lake Hope. We got about 20 miles to get there. But I have one shredded chicken burrito. I have about 3 liters of water on my bike and back, so plenty of water, and it's a beautiful day. Actually starting to feel really good now. Just got cleaned up here in Lake Hope. and trying to hustle, get to Nelsonville, get some more food, get some more water. Feeling pretty good, actually. Okay. When you're looking at your Garmin, and you see that on the end, that means hold on to your britches. Big downhill coming up. Alright, just rolled into Nelsonville. Mile 115 right now, which is officially the farthest single day distance I've ever ridden. So in New Lexington now, and wow, that last section before you get into New Lexington is pretty rough. And I was out there in the heat of the day, and man oh man, I was just about cracked. So fortunately I'm at my favorite Wendy's in Southern Ohio down here, and they let me in to order food, which is awesome. I got a big old bacon cheeseburger, some french fries, get my salt back in me, and the root beer. Bike's doing awesome. It's you know, hard to pedal uphill, but that's because it's so loaded down. We'll see how everything goes today. We're gonna shoot to get to a mile like 180 or so, maybe 200 if I'm feeling really good, but we'll just see. Definitely need to take a little half-hour break here and let my body have a moment off the bike. It's probably gonna be hard to get going again, but I know what the next section is like, and it's also really hard. So I want to eat and rest for a little bit, and then we'll get moving again. Man, what a view. All right, so sorry. Morning. It's 27th of September. Just woke up about half an hour ago, about 6:15, 6:30. Last night was a rough night. Finished the first 200 miles of the DWR at about 1 a.m. Stopped into New Guilford Methodist Church. Actually a great night's sleep. Trying to get moving this morning. Whew. After 200 miles, your legs don't want to move after you go to sleep. But we're gonna see. I got some paved miles to go before hit more gravel again. So hopefully it will be gentle on me. And as the day goes on, hopefully get this thing wrapped up. So I have about 65 miles to Ashland, and then about 50 miles after that. So I'm kind of breaking it up into chunks. First step is to get more water. I'm gonna go to Brinkhaven, do the spring there, fill up my water, and then we'll head onward into the Mohican area, gravel. Probably gonna be walking quite a few gravel hills this morning. Just legs are not moving. We'll see. You know, I've never been in this position before, so as the day goes on, hopefully I'll feel better and better. Sitting up here, it's a sweet view. I didn't really want to wake up early and ride more in the dark since I was in really late last night. So definitely feel like you're on top of Ohio throughout this whole route. Ashland County. Next stop after this is Ashland. And that's gonna be really kind of the beginning of the end of the ride. So, just waiting on some food here at this little sandwich shop, and it should be delicious. I'm starving. Okay. Got my buddy Matt McLean over here. He's joining me for the end of the ride. We're cruising to the lake now, almost done. Left New London about half an hour ago. That was close. I couldn't get it unclipped.
That would have been a great video.
This ride is beautiful. It's been really, really nice. The best part is right now we got a sweet tailwind. So we're gonna ride that a little further.
See you at the lake. Tony's about to pony up and do some serious work on this bridge and the massive hill at the end of this ride. Wow, this is pretty. Look at that. Oh yeah. And here is where the hill begins. Starting the serpentine. Serpentine it. Dedicated to Dave. There you go. Dave Vesper, eat your heart out.
Bunt, and I rode for 38 hours, 37 hours and 49 minutes on the Dirty Water Route.
My name is Jill White. I didn't finish, but I did ride 181-ish miles on the Dirty Water Route.
Okay. Wow. That's a pretty big difference. Ooh. I'm Troy Chipka.
And I'm Corn Watson.
And we rode 230 miles on the Dirty Water Route on a tandem.
Jared Smith, and the time it took me was 29 elapsed hours.
My name is Doug Ritzert. I fortunately spent 26 hours and 57 minutes riding the Dirty Water Route, the inaugural run.
It was amazing. It was something that I had never done before. It wasn't about grit or determination. It was truly about respect to the route. I did not know exactly what to expect. I felt empowered by the gravel, by the climbing, by the experience, by every step of the way. And then night started to settle in and I got fearful. And it was really, truly just my lack of experience being on the night roads and the gravel. And it kind of overtook me a little bit. And I'll be more prepared next year. I'll be ready for that next year. Which is actually one of my favorite spots, was when we saw the coyote.
Right.
And the coyote crossed in front of us, and it zigzagged back and forth and then ran the gravel road in front of us. So that actually was one of the highlights of my entire ride, was the coyote. And as the sun was setting, there was the coyote. So I keep saying I'm going to chase coyotes next year.
Yeah.
I think that the ride for me, the entire ride, I felt like I had this space, just kind of breathing space. And then the night kind of closed in, and I felt like just fear kind of settled in. So I don't know how I'll approach that next year. I'll approach it with more knowledge and more experience. I think that when I did go back and then I saw these guys come, the tandem boys come, I think that but I had already called for a rescue. But I think that if I would have hung in there a few more minutes and stuck with these guys, I could have gotten past that fear, I think. Actually, I appreciate this community. For me, it is about women getting on bikes and being part of attempting these things and being present and learning, because there is a lot of learning curve. I appreciate that this community has kind of empowered me. The first hill that like I belong here, and I wanted other women to feel that it is not frightening, and it is not about a finish. It is not about anything but the adventure and the experience, and that we can learn this. And I love being on my bike, and I love the community that we're with, and I want other people to experience that. I mean, simply, just love the ride of it. I do. And learning to ride is also learning to fall and learning to fail and recognize that it's just part of this journey. And I appreciate this community that we do it together. Oh, I was riding my Diverge, which I absolutely love. I am very emotionally attached and invested into my bike. It means more to me than just the bike itself. I feel like she's kind of my partner in this.
And it has a sweet paint job.
And it has a sweet paint job. We call her the Mermaid.
Mermaid.
Is that now I know what I'm facing, now I know what to expect, and I know what it takes. I know what it's going to take to accomplish it. I also am looking forward to this year of just dreaming and backpacking and doing and all the things that it's going to take to be able to accomplish this next year. No, you know, the only thing I do want to say is so many of my friends said, Jilly, I know you're going to be upset because you didn't finish, and that's not like you. And I wasn't upset. I felt like I accomplished a lot, and I found this great sport I love. So I'm not upset.
Perfect.
I'd do it again.
And having ridden with you, I'm super proud to have, you know, witnessed the moments that led up to when you decided to stop. And I know it was with a lot of respect and also knowing your own personal limits, and I think that that's a lot to be commended.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of anything.
Yeah,
180 miles and 17 hours of straight riding.
Yeah.
I feel really pleased about it.
If you take any 100 miles of this route and you made it an event, people would say it was insane.
Yeah.
And then you put 3 of them together and do it all at once. It's pretty incredible. So
I know we got something special here. I know this route's going to be something special, and I'm just glad to have started the beginning of it with you.
The first woman to attempt the route, so pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
This is from the chafing.
No wonder your butt hurt.
Sheets of steel, sandpaper.
The best part about riding a tandem on the Dirty Water route was probably the communication. I think like the communication between the two of us really distracted us from like the pain that we were enduring.
The Dirty Water route really, like, you were in the back of Ohio, the places that you don't just drive. So it was cool to like get to see all the unseen places. And I got to look around because I wasn't driving. So that's pretty awesome. Being the stoker behind Troy, and being the stoker behind anybody, I think is a strange sensation. You have to trust them to know that how to handle the bike, what line to take in gravel, how fast to go, knowing what the brakes are going to feel like when you're going fast. And even when you're going slow, the balance is really strange. Especially climbing up a hill, you're going super slow. You don't realize when you're on a bike by yourself, you have to steer yourself to correct your balance, where on the back, I can't steer to correct. So if I start to lean, I've either got to tell him that I'm leaning too far and he's got to correct for me, or I have to almost pull the bike back under me, which again throws Troy off up front. So
it was really scary being the pilot at sometimes, knowing full well that like I'm in charge of both of our safety.
43 miles in, we broke our first spoke, and that was kind of uneasy, but we were going to push ahead. At mile 162, we broke our second spoke, and that was for me when it was like, I was always in the back of my head when we were going downhill, like 40 miles an hour on a paved section, or even like 15 on a gravel.
So Quinn basically trued that wheel off the brake pad so it wasn't rubbing. And finally, riding into town, we broke our third one 2 miles from our destination. We got to Greer, which was 230 miles, so that's where our 230 miles on the dirty water route comes from. You know, why are we doing this? So we wanted to ride home to Ashland. It was about 30 miles from Greer. So we ended up riding home, and we felt like that was good enough for us.
So when I rode into Ashland, I was feeling relieved, and I knew that if the wind changed directions, it would be really hard for me to finish under 38 hours. But it was a really good feeling because the wind was still blowing pretty well out of the south, and at that point I knew that all I had to do was stay on my bike and keep turning the pedals, and I would get there with enough time to make it there by sunset. You know, the whole idea kind of started with this really bad idea to ride from Ashland, Ohio to Ashland, Kentucky, which is right near the southern tip of Ohio. So from there it was like a hop, skip, and a jump to make this gravel route across the state. Ohio is such a beautiful state. It often gets overlooked because it's, you know, the Midwest, and people see a lot of fields and a lot of, you know, city industry. They think it's pretty flat, but when you get away from the main routes, it's pretty rugged, and I think it's as difficult as any other 315 miles that you could find anywhere else. 38 hours is a long time to think about finishing, so I wasn't super emotional at that time. I was just like really thankful, was enjoying the experience, and it was really interesting. In Vermilion, there's a stoplight like really close to the finish line, and I pulled up to the stoplight, but it wouldn't change, so I was like sitting there at a red light. You know, it's just a really good feeling to, you know, see the route completed. And all throughout the day I've been getting text messages from people who had finished. I was one of the last ones to finish, really, so it was neat to see other people finishing the route, and I had it didn't bother me at all that people were faster than me or whatever. It wasn't about that for me. It was really just about seeing the state in the way that we did, and then creating something that other people could enjoy. And that was like the best part, was knowing that other people were enjoying it too, because they would get into it and it'd be another hill or another gravel road. But there was a lot of people that kept pushing on until they literally couldn't go any further. You know, geographically it was really interesting and really fun to cover the entire state in the way we did, and I feel like it really did capture like the best riding in the whole state. You know, the big rolling hills in the south, you know, the plains areas, some of the big farm fields with the big rolling hills in the middle of the state, more remote kind of backwoods areas in the Mohican River Valley. And then finally you finish with big glaciated plain, you know, riding all the way down to Lake Erie, up in the flats in the north. I think my life in general, scripture is a big part of kind of what fuels me. I want to honor God with my life, and I want to serve other people to the best of my ability. And what I have to offer is I'm really good at working on bikes. Maybe can say I'm a little inspiring to do these kind of bad ideas. My faith is a big part of everything I do. To get me through this, I really was super determined to finish. When you spend that long planning something like this, you definitely have a lot of motivation to like see it through. And so I don't think I really ever got to the point where I considered not finishing. There were times where I was worried that maybe
I wouldn't physically be able to. Those moments usually pass pretty quickly, like if I had some food or I noticed kind of negative thoughts coming in. I knew I was getting low and my body, you know, just needing some food and some water. So I actually slept really, really well the night out when I was sleeping in the woods. So I was just at peace.
Waking up in the morning, the last 80 miles on the route were probably the most painful like riding I've ever done. Like my butt hurt so bad, and so I just wanted to be done for that reason. And then yeah, Troy had the point of we were just really proud of what we had done, so we were content with calling it quits and coming back next year to hit it again.
Sorry, my favorite thing was from Walhonding to Greer. We want to quit, but neither of us wants to say it. Quinn just randomly says, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like so confused, like, do what? He's like, oh, I don't know. I thought if I'd say it confidently enough that you'd be like, yeah, let's, you know, finish, or yeah, let's bail, because he didn't want to decide, so he thought he could trick me into deciding. We can cut up Wally Road and get off course, or like we have to keep on course. Like this is the moment where we need to decide, so let's make that decision. And as soon as we got off course, we thought we'd feel like a little bit of remorse, but it was like, I mean, it made our day.
Joyful.
Yeah, it was joyful.
And to be fair, that section that you left, you get into some really rugged gravel there, and there's a good chance
I don't know the bike
wouldn't have made it much further, and then you wouldn't have been able to ride to Ashland.
Yeah, we already had 2 blown spokes.
And we broke the third one just on the bump going off of the bridge. We were just going over a bridge, and that little bump broke the third one, and then there's so much tension on those spokes, and 400 combined pounds between the two of us and the bike. I wasn't going to survive it.
Which at that point we were 2 miles from my house, and we decided to roll it in with the brake rubbing.
The most surprising part was actually the amount of gravel. I wasn't sure that you could stitch together that much gravel riding across the state, but I was pleasantly surprised that there was a lot of gravel, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Statistic, I think we've measured now at least 100 miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you went anywhere and did like a 100-mile gravel ride, you'd be like, oh cow, that's a lot of gravel.
Surprise on top of that was that there was as much gravel as there was north of Ashland. I never imagined that you could find gravel roads up in Erie County. I figured they'd all be chip and seal at the worst.
Yeah.
I rode a mountain bike, a flat bar bike, a Giant XTC. Just so happens that it's the same bike that was ridden by Louis Seto to win the Tour Divide route in 2018. That's the advantage of that bike, is that when you're 150 miles in and you hit Mohican and the real climbing starts, you can drop into creeper and just creep up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the gravel bikes that have the big gearing. I mean, that's great for flat ground, but that steep stuff.
Yeah.
No. Of course, everybody suffered the same thing as far as their saddle goes. There's nothing you can do about that, really.
Yeah. So you were the winner of the inaugural Dirty Water route, which I know is not something that you intended.
Not at all.
Tell us about the moment when you passed Jared and Ben. What were you thinking?
Well, there's those 2 guys that are in front of me, and they're sound asleep. I better be quiet so they don't know I passed them. And then I changed my plans. When I got to Ashland, I was planning to hit McDonald's and get some breakfast, but I did not. I just hit the convenience store and grabbed some snacks and just hammered with everything I had the rest of the way and kept looking for headlights.
Yeah. You ended up winning by about an hour.
Right.
Which in the course of a 315-mile race is not a lot of time.
Nope.
So, congratulations.
Thank you. So honored to be the first holder of the trophy, and I'll be equally honored to give it to somebody else next year, because that's what's likely to happen.
And we also have to give a shout out to our supporters here at the shop for the Dirty Water Route.
which is Rudy Project. So Doug was able to also win the drawing for the Rudy gear. So very cool.
Great. I want to thank Ashland Bike and Tony for putting together a fantastic event. I really think that folks out there should give this a look, and you know, if ultra endurance is your thing, this is a fun way to see the state of Ohio, and these guys have done a great job with it, and I hope everybody out there decides to give it a try, because you won't regret it.